Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2699 One sword sweeps away one. All the attacks, the combined desperate strikes of the five strongest warriors, were completely swallowed up by Zhang Yi's netherworld burial. The aftershocks of the netherworld swept across the universe, passing over the area where the five powerful figures were located like autumn leaves being swept away by the wind, shaking the supernatural shields protecting their bodies. Kroba felt a sweet taste in his throat and spat out a mouthful of black blood. A violent explosion resounded from inside Gushin's drive armor, and his left arm exploded on the spot, the entire arm and armor being thrown out. The wings of light in the sky completely disintegrated, leaving behind a bloody mess. Gutchewin's golden pupils instantly lost focus, as if they had been roughly wiped with a coarse cloth. One by one, the Rashomon gates behind Manhwa Kami went out, leaving only the outermost gate barely maintaining its shape. The moment the grand funeral in the underworld began, the five of them were abruptly forced back from the attacking side to become the ones being buried. Kroba coughed up large amounts of blood, his voice filled with sorrow and despair. "We were wrong. We were really wrong. We thought we valued you enough. We had laid an absolute trap to take your life, but our power cannot kill you. Cannot kill you." Two streams of tears flowed down Kroba's face. He was not only crying for himself, but also for the fate of the entire Fong Wolf clan. Because the signal in this area was completely blocked by Liu Karen, they were unable to transmit messages back to Earth. This means that their people were unaware that their strangulation operation had failed. When Zhang Yi returns to Earth, given his temperament, he will surely slaughter all five major races. We shouldn't have provoked this guy in the first place. Could he be some legendary super earthling? Gu Shan's voice was deep and heavy, and as he spoke, a large amount of blood oozed from the corner of his mouth. At the end of each era, the etheric power of the entire race is concentrated, giving birth to one or a few powerful individuals who support the entire race through time. This is not a coincidence, but rather the result of the energy released from the deaths of hundreds of millions, even millions of people being concentrated in a very small number of individuals, giving birth to super strong individuals. They originally thought that the history of the Manchu people was short, and perhaps no such individual would ever be born. But now, they are witnessing such a person with their own eyes. Amanamaki was horrified. He muttered to himself, "I recognize this power. The supercosm. He has actually reached the supercosm level." However, few people understood the meaning of his mutterings. After the two sides exchanged a single blow, the universe quickly returned to silence. The once overwhelming energy storm has disappeared. The remaining dark coffin slowly closed. As the coffin lid closed for the last moment, the projection of the netherworld gradually faded away and disappeared back into the depths of the dimension. Zhang Yi stood in front of the coffin. The White Emperor's battle suit had several small cracks on its surface, which were quickly filled by the suit's own repair mechanism. Although the battle suit was cracked, it did not harm Zhang Yi's body, and he was quite satisfied with his own defensive capabilities. After all, even a Black Knight-level expert would avoid the brunt of a desperate attack from five top-tier experts. The Taishu bathrobe was relayered with a thin gauze and attached to the surface of the battle suit. He held the Sword of Judgment in his hand, its tip gently touching the sparse starlight of the cosmic void. The five powerful figures floated not far in front of him, each looking utterly miserable. Kroba's chest was caved in, his armor was torn, revealing his shattered bones. Gushin has only one complete arm left. Its drive armor is largely destroyed, and its energy is leaking. The empty wings of light vanished completely, leaving behind two hideous bloody grooves. Gutchewin's eyes were bloodshot, and his golden pupils were dull, as if they might shatter at any moment. Aminomi no Manaka's divine aura was disordered, and behind him, Rashomon was only a half-open door, swaying weakly. They had lost their earlier arrogance and were now severely injured and on the verge of death. Every face bore an undisguised look of shock. The shock was stronger than the pain. Before the battle began, they never imagined that the 5 of them working together would be defeated in this way by a chaos. Is this the result of your 2 years of hard work? Zhang Yi slowly raised his head, a mocking smile playing on his lips. His gaze swept over each of the 5 people. Not bad. Much better than the all-races conference back then. He paused. Then, lightly add a little bit of, "What a pity. The ones who will keep getting stronger, aren't you guys?" Gu Shan gritted his teeth, a hint of defiance still lingering in his eyes. "Don't be so smug. If you kill any of us here today, the entire race of Earth will not let you get away with it. As the Man People, a race on the verge of extinction, you are at the center of the storm. I advise you to let us leave today." Although they had already been defeated, Gushin was not giving up and attempted to use this method to force Zhang Yi to let them leave. Rest assured. Zhang Yi sheathed his long sword. "You ancient races never intended to let the Nok go. The Nok never expected the Huashu kingdom to survive because of your kindness. I rely on strength." The god of heaven stared at him. His eyes no longer held the fake smile, but instead contained complexity and resentment. "You think winning this battle will allow you to control the future? You haven't even seen what the Star Clan truly left behind. Perhaps we can talk about cooperation and jointly develop the Star Corridor." Zhang Yi sneered. At this moment, he couldn't possibly hold back against anyone. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Killing these 5 night-level powerhouses and obtaining their essence is the right path. Nonsense. After I kill you all, I will return to Earth and wipe out your race. Your things will still belong to me. The 5 people were terrified. This was exactly what they had feared. Chaos. How dare you? Let's see if you dare, old man. I've said enough nonsense. Just die. Zhang Yi suddenly raised his hand and drew his sword. The Taishu bathrobe and the netherworld burial resonated gently once more. A dark ripple spread rapidly in all directions across the universe like a fierce dark storm. The boundless realm contracted again, locking the 5 people firmly in a fixed position in front of him. Anger and despair intertwined in the eyes of the 5 powerful figures. Their expressions were contorted, their teeth were grinding, but the arrogance that had once looked down on everyone was gone. "Kill. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me." "Pull yourself down with me? Do you even have the ability to do that?" Zhang Yi teleported over and slashed down with his sword. Kroba, a night-level powerhouse of the Fong Wolf clan who was already covered in wounds, bit down hard with his silver teeth and released a shattering wave, but it was directly swallowed up by the dark netherworld sword light. Puff. His body exploded directly in space. If Zhang Yi hadn't been afraid of wasting it and intentionally left his armor, Kroba would have been completely obliterated by this sword. Chapter 2701 Sword Sweeps Away 2. Zhang Yi's single sword strike killed Kroba, causing the other members of the group to be terrified. They roared furiously and launched a powerful attack together, but unfortunately, they were already exhausted and seriously injured. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, remains full of energy and possesses formidable fighting power. The first one is Gushin of the Ironclad tribe. His abilities relied on overwhelming brute force, which was inherently countered by Zhang Yitian. Now that Zhang Yitian was right in front of him, wielding the Eternal Judgment Sword, he had no chance to fight back. The giant, armored body was cleaved in 2 from the ground, its death a gruesome sight. However, his physical body was so resilient that even though his internal organs had been scattered throughout the universe, they were not immediately destroyed. Zhang Yi raised his hand and absorbed the essence of the 2 into another dimension, then immediately charged towards one of them. "Chaos, are you really going to push us to this point?" The Celestial Clan's calm, though fierce on the outside, roared. "We can talk. I'm willing to make the Celestial Clan submit to you and honor you as king." "Unnecessary." Puff. With a clean and swift strike, another person was killed. The Titan Cyclops Gatchawan was the calmest, for as a time-manipulating being, he had already foreseen his own death. No matter what he does, he can't change the outcome. He gave up his life and accepted death calmly, but his eyes were filled with loneliness before he died. The Titans were once incredibly powerful, ruling over the entire planet Earth. At their peak, we established hundreds of colonies across the galaxy. Unfortunately, time took its toll, and everything withered and died. Zhang Yi was deeply moved by these words. Everything has its season. The budding of spring, the flourishing of summer, the falling of leaves in autumn, and the withering of winter. Throughout history, every ethnic group has had its glorious moments, but all will eventually come to an end. This may be the end for the next 6 generations, but Zhang Yi, who is focused on the present, is seizing every moment. Goodbye. He beheaded Gatchawan with a single sword strike, seizing his essence. There is only one person left, the Aim no Mikoto of the Zeepin clan. Zhang Yi stood atop the universe, coldly watching him with an indifferent gaze befitting a dead man. 10 no Mikoto's hands and feet were ice cold. He knew that no matter how he resisted, it would be meaningless. Chaos, keeping me alive, is definitely more meaningful than killing me. I think we can talk. Zhang Yi, carrying a sword, slowly approached him, as if floating in the universe. All right, you still have some value. Now that you've crippled your own abilities and limbs, I might consider sparing your life. Take him back and let Yang Xinshin search his mind. She should get some useful information. After all, Zhang Yi was quite interested in this starry corridor and the ancient star race. The god's gaze suddenly turned crazed. Damn chaos. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. I'll never become your puppet. No sooner had he finished speaking than his head suddenly exploded like a watermelon with a bang. The blazing energy and radiance burned his body to ashes. Zhang Yi sighed with some regret. Knowing that I, Xine, am here, you don't even want to leave behind a corpse. Is that it? It doesn't matter. He took away the essence of the god of heaven, and thus the hunt and counter-hunting operation came to an end. The deep space of the universe is deathly silent. Having just experienced an earth-shattering battle, this star field, which originally belonged to the convergence of the races, is now filled with violent energy turbulence. The shattered asteroid belt, like sand churning in a tsunami, silently testifies to the ferocity of the battle that had just taken place. A corpse, or rather, a mass of indescribable remains and ashes, suspended silently in the void. Kroba, Gushin, Tian, Gatchawan, Tianziyu God. Each of these names, placed in their respective regions, is a supreme ruler who makes billions of living beings tremble. They are top-tier powerhouses at the night level. But at this moment, they are merely Zhang Yi's cold and realistic spoils of war. Zhang Yiling stood in this void. His eyes were eerily calm, devoid of any elation after slaying a powerful enemy, only displaying a detached indifference as if it were perfectly natural. This indifference stems from his profound understanding of the laws of the apocalypse. In this dark forest, there is never any negotiation, only devouring and being devoured. This is the most effective way to become stronger. He slowly raised his right hand, and the gate of a second realm opened. He collected the remnants of a night-level powerhouse. The bodies can be used for biological experiments. Perhaps we can find something useful. The damaged armor can be taken back to study their technology. In short, Zhang Yi is someone who makes the most of everything. The essence of a knight. In this universe, every single one is priceless. A mocking smile curved Zhang Yi's lips, as if he were whispering to the ghosts in the void. You all believed until your deaths that I fought you to the death for a spot in the starry sky corridor? Too naive. For me right now, the unknown star corridor is just a vague possibility. But you, these living, breathing night-level powerhouses, are a real opportunity for me. The rules of this world are extremely cruel. The more ether fragments you possess, the higher your potential and the stronger you become. Meditation can only develop one's potential to near its limit, but it cannot break through one's own limitations. Therefore, plundering each other, Killing stronger beings and seizing their essence is the fastest way to increase strength. He knew all too well that in this cruel system, only what could be transformed into his own power was real. Everything else is illusory. Having done all this, he showed no hesitation and returned directly to the Dreamer spaceship. Dreamer, control room. When Zhang Yi appeared out of thin air, everyone who had been waiting there breathed a sigh of relief. Although he had absolute confidence in Zhang Yi, it would be a lie to say he wasn't worried, as they were facing an attack by powerful figures of the same caliber. Fatty Su was the first to rush forward, his round face radiating excitement, his fat trembling. Lao Ge, you're incredible. You killed several top experts from ancient races without taking any damage. You're practically a Superman. It's not that weak, thank you. Zhang Yi waved his hand, not as a formality, but because he felt that Wei didn't need to say anything more. The crowd gathered around. The battle had lasted less than an hour, during which they had wiped out a group of the elite warriors of the tribe. In order to surround and kill Zhang Yi, the clan committed at least 1/3 of its strongest members. This time, it's definitely a major blow. In the future, the Huashu kingdom will no longer need to worry about the threats they pose. Uncle Yu, with a broad smile, crossed his arms.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.